If you want to do a profitable property development project, then you've got to develop an eye for seeing what others are not seeing. We're here at a commercial to residential. It's a conversion of an office building into 4 flats. Now the thing with this building is most people who saw it thought you could only get 3 flats out of it. Now what I saw was how you could get 4, and of course that changes the economics of doing this project. Now let's take a look inside and I'll show you exactly what we saw. The thing I love about commercial property is that what you can do with it is not entirely obvious. If you've got a 3-bedroom semi-detached, we've all seen Homes Under the Hammer and Sarah Beanie's Property Ladder and all of that sort of stuff. And it's pretty obvious to most people what you can do with a 3-bedroom terraced house. But with a commercial property, it takes a lot of vision. It takes a lot of knowledge in terms of what you can do with regards to planning and permitted development. It needs knowledge of what the rules and regulations are. And it also needs that extra special eye to see things in 3D, to visualize space and layouts of end flats from this sort of derelict space. And it also requires an eye for using dead space that is simply wasted, that you can utilize to make your flats more spacious and more appealing. So if you're new to this channel, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell icon. We put out 3 videos a week, all dedicated to keeping you informed and up to date. Also, smash this like button and tell me about your commercial to residential conversions in the comments below. So, what did most people see? We're in a former office building. Most people saw 3 flats. This is the first floor. Now, it's a rather big first floor. You can see it stretches back all this way. I'll put some plans up on the screen in a moment, but most people look at space like this and think there's a flat at the front of the building on this first floor, and there's a flat at the rear of the building, and also one on the second floor, 3 flats. But what we managed to see was on this first floor level getting 3 flats, 1 at the front, 1 at the back, and 1 at the middle. You can see from this floor plan how we've got this middle flat into the equation. Now, we know the rules. Every 1-bedroom flat needs to be a minimum of 37 square meters, which they are. Each flat also needs to have adequate natural light to all the habitable rooms. So we have achieved that in this middle flat, and let me show you how this works. So the reason we can get this flat in the middle is because we have a small little courtyard actually in the middle of the property on the first floor, which lets in a lot of natural light. So what we are going to do is build a 1-bedroom flat which is like in a U shape or a C shape around, which wraps around this courtyard. The other thing, of course, I mean, I'm standing now in what's going to be the bedroom, is that roof lights like this roof light will illuminate the bedroom, and this counts as natural light for that space. So let me take you a walk around and you can see from the floor plan how we have made this middle flat in this space. And of course here we are in what's going to be the lounge kitchen, and you see that glorious courtyard which gives us that extra flat. And that's basically it, guys. You know, this property was on sale through a commercial agent. We pretty much paid the asking price. A lot of people had seen it before and they couldn't really make the figures stack up. Because when you're looking at this from realizing 3 1-bedroom flats, it's a little bit touch and go whether it actually stacks up as a project at all. But the minute you get that extra flat in, it changes the economics completely. So what you've got to do is get yourself educated, get yourself equipped with the knowledge, and through practice, get your eyes trained so you can see what others don't see. When you're able to do that, you will find bargains, even if you pay asking price for properties, because quite simply put, others are not seeing what you're seeing. Now we're going to show you this project as it progresses, so make sure you subscribe and hit the bell icon. We put out 3 videos a week, all dedicated to helping you be more successful in property, so you can keep up to date with progress on this site by subscribing and hitting that bell icon. The other thing you'll see in forthcoming videos is how through good application of design we are optimizing the space in this building, and particularly using dead spaces to make more spaces inside each flat. Let me show you an example of that. Now look at this, folks. This stairwell has a massive head height. You don't need that space. We don't have any giants coming here. You simply don't need it to be 3-4 meters tall. The other side of this wall is actually going to be a corridor for one of the flats. So what we're going to do is use that dead ceiling height space by cutting a hole in here and using that space to accommodate the washing machine and also the hot water cylinder. By utilizing that dead space, it means that there's a lot more space available for the 1-bedroom flat. The other thing that's worth doing is thinking about getting rid of these chimneys, because when you make these spaces into bedrooms and stuff like that, it really affects the positioning of furniture. So we've had a structural engineer involved. They've looked at the issues in terms of removing this chimney breast at the higher level, and that allows us to free up floor space on all the floors below. And it's not just the floor space it frees up, but it gives us a lot more options with furniture positioning and layout, which makes the flats a lot more livable and nice. But sometimes there are some challenges, there are some unexpected things that happen. Let's have a look. So we didn't have a Scooby-Doo what the roof would be like until we stripped it back to reveal this. So we had to strip the roof back because obviously there was no insulation in here. I mean, when we stripped this back, this part of the building was built in the 1920s. The plasterboard has just been taken off, lath and plaster in those days. And this is exactly what it was. So it must have been freezing cold up here for all those 100 years. We can't leave it like that. We've got to upgrade it to modern insulation standards. And when we did that, of course, we realized that the roof has seen better days. Now, in this case, because of the nooks and crannies and valleys in this roof design, we're going to have to redo it. That means putting scaffolding out at the front, and that means a little bit of unexpected cost. Now, when you're renovating old buildings, rule number 1 is that you have to expect the unexpected and plan for it. When you actually strip a building back, there are always going to be things that you didn't quite expect. Sometimes they might be nice things. Sometimes they can be additional costs. Now, the way to secure against this is to make sure that you build in the right profit margin from the beginning. I will only look at commercial conversion projects where the profit margin is 35% minimum. That gives you the contingency to deal with most unforeseen issues that you might encounter. Sometimes there are bonuses. When we did the original plans, of course, this building wasn't stripped out, and we needed to remove this wall. That you can see that's already been removed, but we needed to remove this wall to make our layouts work. Now, when we didn't know how the building was structured, what we had planned for was to put in a little bit of steel up here to support the structure if we remove this wall. But only after we stripped it out, we found that this wasn't a load-bearing wall. And our structural engineers advised that we're good to go just by knocking it down. The structure's already supported. So this is like a bonus, really, an unforeseen bonus. We haven't had to go through the expense of providing the additional structure before we could do that. So that's a nice bonus. Now, I've been training people in how to invest and develop commercial property for over 20 years. You can benefit from our 8-week training course. Details are at our website, succeedinproperty.com. And if you're looking for a site to convert, then over the next couple of years, there are hundreds of banks closing down in high streets up and down the land. We've put together a list of over 500 closing bank branches, and at least one of them will be in a town near you. You can download that for free, at this link. The link is in the description below. Download it now, get educated, and get doing one of these projects. See you guys in the next video. The Baker Street Property Meet is the UK's largest and #1 property investors networking event. The property market is going through monumental change right now, and at Baker Street Property Meet we aim to keep you up to date with the latest tips and tricks and insider tactics to help you keep on top of your property investing game and succeed in these troubled economic times. The Baker Street Property Meet is fundamentally about networking, because it's not what you know, it's who you know. And at Baker Street we aim to connect you with the people to make your property journey a monumental success. There's no better place to be to further your property investment journey than the Baker Street Property Meet. So make sure you're here, you're connecting with myself and Andrew Roberts, our expert guest speakers, and 300 passionate property people each and every month. See you at the next meet. Get your spot at bakerstreetpropertymeet.com.